I'm Game Rebecca. I've been a biker for over 30 years. I am almost 42 years old. I've been riding motorcycles since I couldn't even walk. I've been driving them on my own since I was 8. And this video is going to be kind of like an update on what all happened to my bike, what's happened to me, why I needed this much repair, and just some general like rule of thumb kind of thing and guidelines for people that may be new bikers, or maybe you're interested in getting a motorcycle. That's what this video is. If you would like to keep watching, I'm going to roll my intro here. I am sitting on my only ride. For those that don't know, I don't own a car. I own a motorcycle, and I recently moved from Florida to Georgia. In the process of moving, we both fell off a moving truck. I wanted to include some pictures of what it looked like after I fell off a moving truck with a 1,000-pound motorcycle. But I also wanted to say this video was over an hour long. I ended up cutting it up. This is going to be part 1. Part 2 is going to be going over the repairs of what they did on the motorcycle, what it cost me, how they didn't do their job, the fact that they ripped me off, and the fact that I think they took advantage of me because I'm a female. Also, they took my bike in April, the first week of April, to get it fixed, and I didn't get it back till the end of the month. So they also didn't tell me about how long the repair times were going to be, leaving me without a vehicle for nearly a month. So enjoy these lovely photos of my leg. I'm going to be interjecting here and there to do some other like voice clips so that you can understand some of the things a little bit better, because I have chopped this up quite a bit and I want to make sure that everything is coming together. I do talk about like what to keep on the bike, especially if you're a new biker, things that I recommend that you keep on your bike and why I recommend certain things. So that's what this part of the video is about. Part 2 is going to be about the repairs and the cost and what they basically fucked up and overcharged me for. Us causing some damage to the bike and to me. The saddlebag got broken off this side, so I only have one saddlebag now. The frame is also the welded frame that attaches the saddlebag and the trunk to the bike also got damaged in the process due to improper handling while trying to lift the bike up off of me. And it's no fault to anybody other than we didn't indicate before anything else, because of the fact that it was an emergency situation and a 1,000-pound bitch was laying on me. 1,000-pound bitch. She's beautiful. I love her, but she's a little heavy. So at that point, I had to replace my mirror, which I bought. Of course, you know, you don't just buy a mirror; you buy a pair. And I just realized this one's got gasket issue, so I'm going to have to actually fix this one because this is the replacement and it's absolutely covered in pollen. So it's covered in pollen. If the camera can even pick this up, I will zoom it in editing. If not, I'll like try and like bring it up to the camera. So I had to replace this mirror as it got broken off. It damaged my front windshield just a little bit, and it bent my rear brake like a good 45-degree angle. So that was an issue. The other thing is I don't have one of those like bike kits that you buy or that you get with your motorcycle, due to the fact that this is an older bike and it doesn't have the original like parts that go with it. So I had to buy replacement parts. This one I just recently picked up. It is a 15 millimeter because I keep parts to repair my bike on my bike. The rule of thumb is to keep tools on your bike to fix every aspect of it, whether it's going to be loosening your back seat. So you need one for the bolt on there. Getting into your battery compartment, you need one. Usually I recommend a flathead screwdriver, and I do talk about that here in a second. But there's certain sized pieces that you need for your repair kit. If you have one built for your bike, then that's perfect because they're all the right size to fit everything on your bike as stock. But
if you don't have one of those, I recommend keeping a small toolkit in like miniature form under your seat. There's a locking compartment where you can keep like your registration, or you can keep tools, which is usually where your little tool bag goes, is underneath the seat, and a little locking cabinet kind of case thing that's under there. I recommend always keeping tools on you because you never know when you're going to need to take your seat off and jump your bike. I even have a little miniature bike jumper that I don't have on the bike right now because I'm missing my saddlebag that it went in. But those are like great things to keep on your motorcycle as well.
Well, that's all that's in there. But I always have, there's underneath my seat are more tools. There's tools in here. And that's just because when you're on the road, you kind of need everything that you would need immediately in order to access repair features on your motorcycle. So this is a safety thing. For those of you that are new to riding, I would always recommend having a 8 to 12 inch long screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, because there are certain motorcycles where the fuel intake on the side, like you take your air filter off, sometimes when your bike stalls out and you try and over crank it, you can flood the engine. What happens then is there's too much fuel inside the engine, which it just takes time to evaporate out. You can actually take a flathead screwdriver and feed it in through one of the intakes to open the valve up, and then you can, crank, you open your choke all the way up, you pull it out, and you crank that fucker. Like you get on it, and then what it does is it forces a bunch of fuel into the engine, and with the airflow open and you manually keeping it open so it can't trapdoor back shut, it allows the bike to actually overfuel and then catch, because it'll ignite. So you have to be careful not to stand behind the bike when you do that, because there could be some blowback. What I mean by that is sparks, engine, fireballs, that kind of thing go out the back. Wherever your, I don't know if you can see it because the helmet's in the way, but wherever your pipes lead, just get the fuck out the way, because those can go a good couple of feet. I have seen them go several feet. I used to have a bike that had straight pipes, and it would shoot about 4 feet out behind me, which was great when people were tailgating me, because then I would just grab the bike and then downshift really quick, and then pop the clutch in, and then rev it, and then I go, and I would shoot flames out the back. It was awesome. They were blue. Anyways, always keep a long-handled, long-necked flathead screwdriver on your bike at all times, even if you don't have screws on your bike that fit. This is a number 2 head versus a number 1. The number 2 heads are more recommended because of the fact that it can get into things and wedge things open a little easier. And always buy something you're not worried about breaking. This is a Stanley. This one here is a Craftsman, and this is well, there's a name on it, but I can't read it. I think it says Syracuse on it. Don't quote me, because it's old. These you're supposed to replace every so many years because there's a spring inside the mechanism in here that can actually go bad and or give you false readings, so there's that. So anyways, finish your motorcycle lesson for the day. Anyways, I guess I need to start over. So the purpose of keeping extra tools on your bike is to make sure you're always ready. You always want to keep bungees on your bike because you never know when you're going to need those. The other thing I like to keep on my bike that I have posted other videos of in the past, if I can get to it, past all my bungee cords. Oh, and a net or 2. I have 2 nets on my bike. Is a Ziploc bag. Yeah, you gotta hold it. This is a little medic kit. So I have hair ties, a needle, thread, saline solution, alcohol swabs, iodine wipes, the little things that you're supposed to break and let people sniff when they pass out, Band-Aids, gauze, ointment, things that you can use for like lubrication just in case you have something that's like torn on the body, you need to like lubricate the skin around it, or like blisters, you can lubricate it and throw a Band-Aid over it to keep the skin hydrated. Also, lubricating things like KY jelly that you can use for other activities also work really well on the bike because they're water soluble. So you can use them to get parts on and off, and you don't have to worry about it deteriorating the rubber or damaging your motorcycle. So there's all kinds of things in these little cases. These are Johnson & Johnson cases, and I love them because they're hard cases. You can pack a lot of stuff in there and still snap them closed. I keep a hair tie around them so that they stay closed. I have a bigger one here at the house that I use that also has like first aid stuff in it. But I try and keep it in a Ziploc bag just to make sure that the Band-Aids stay dry. This is my rain suit. I also carry a rain suit with me at all times. This used to be in the English is hard. Other saddlebag, but because it has been torn, literally torn off the motorcycle, I no longer have the ability to stick it over there. So there's that. I just realized this one is also broken. But when it comes to picking up a 1,000-pound motorcycle, it's hard to pick them up. So really quick, let me show you how you're supposed to pick them up. You want to grab either here under the tank or on the frame itself, which is right here. Your engine, the top of your engine shouldn't really be hot because this is a cleat that goes on it for decoration. This is your tailpipe, so that's going to be hot if you're on this side. Try and avoid that. So you want to grab here. The other is underneath your seat or on this part of your framing where your back shocks are. So you want to grab here and grab here, and what you do is you start and you back up as you lift. So this is basically the motion you are doing as you pick her up. If she's flat on the ground, you tilt your wheel facing you. So the front of your tire should be facing you. Grab the frame. Well, of course, you're going to grab under, lift, put the bike right here on the backs of your legs, lift, and slowly back up as you lift in order to get it in an upright position. When you get about right here is where you're going to have problems because that last oomph is going to be hard. What I had problems with is every time I get it halfway up, the tire that was this direction, which is how it should be because you need the back of the tire to face the direction you're trying to lift it so that it's easier to get it up. You also want to make sure your kickstand is down on the opposite side if you're on this side of the bike. My tire kept going from this position to this position so that I get it halfway up and then the tire is working against me. So I couldn't lift her the rest of the way up. So thankfully, somebody saw I was down. I mean, literally at one point I'm like this with my hands on the helmet just fucking over it. I was hurt. I was in a lot of pain. My knees were bleeding. Both my hands were bruised. It was a whole thing. So thankfully somebody stopped to help me pick her up. Explained what happened. She of course wouldn't start. There was fuel where there shouldn't be in the engine. And so she was what would be considered flooded. I will leave a description either on the screen or in the description box to explain what a flooded engine means for a motorcycle.
So come to find out, the guy that came to help me in the parking lot of the motorcycle shop actually worked there in their finance department. And I explained what happened, told him that it stalled out on me, and he helped me get her picked up. The other thing that I want to mention here is the engine on her was flooded because she fell over and fuel filled into chambers that it wasn't supposed to be, which also would essentially be considered flooded as well. I wanted to mention that. But the gentleman that did come and help me works for the actual motorcycle dealership that I was actually in the parking lot of when I went down.
So talk to the guy. And told him what was going on with her, what happened, all that kind of thing. Their repair center was closed that day, but I could come back the next day and get her in. So my motorcycle helmet, while I was driving to and from Georgia looking for a home, the visor on it, the side mechanism that holds it on, broke because I had it sitting on the seat. I stopped to get fuel. I turned the bike on, and before I could grab my helmet to put it on, the vibration of the bike was just enough that it vibrated the helmet right off. It rolled off my seat. It landed just right on the mechanism to open and close the visor, and it broke. I didn't realize it had broken until after I got on I-75, and I'm driving along, and next thing I know, the side comes off, and it's going bloop, 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 like literally just waving in the wind, man. It was just having a heyday. So I'm driving down the road like this with my hand on my helmet, trying to keep a fucking visor from literally ripping off my face. Yeah. In 30-something degrees weather. Which is why I had to stop to try and tape it on, which, by the way, FYI, electrician's tape does not like to be cold. Just going to tell you that now. Let's see if I got any in here. It should be in here. Well, technically there's some in here, but it ain't on the roll. I don't know where the roll went. So electrical tape is meant for electrical things on your bike, things that get hot, not things that get cold. So the sticky on electrical tape didn't stick. This is actually from my helmet. It just kept falling off, and it made it next to impossible to keep it on until I finally found some duct tape, and that sucker wasn't going nowhere. Just saying. Duct tape.
So to wrap this up, the reason I had to take my bike and put it in the repair shop is she kept stalling on me. There was more than once where, and I would be on the throttle or whatever, and I would go to like downshift or upshift or whatever, and she would literally just stall out on me. I'm like, okay, this isn't good. She was also running rich, where she was using more fuel than she should have. I should get over 200 miles or 250 miles plus on this bike, and I don't. I was getting between 90 and 110 miles on a full tank of gas, which is not good. So that's why I wanted to look at getting her in the shop. Plus, she needed new tires because the tires that we had were not in the best condition, because at one point I wasn't riding as much because I wasn't going anywhere due to my health, and the front tire got out of round because it got flat. So I could feel that there was a spot on the inside of the tire that wasn't quite round when we reinflated it. So I know I needed a new tire. Anyways, so these are the pictures really quick that you were seeing that are from the accident where the bike stalled in front of the motorcycle dealership. So yeah, fun. Anyways, part 2 will be the cost of the repairs and the equipment, like the new helmet, and the breakdown of what they did and things like that. Like, they repaired things that didn't need to be repaired, and other things they charged me for. They literally charged me $900 worth of service charges. So I need to get with my shop in Florida and find out what it would have cost them to do what was done on my bike, and just get a hypothetical and see if they would have charged me the same, because I know I feel ripped off. Also, they didn't put the engine head back on my motorcycle properly, so I need to get it back in the shop. I have a list of things that they did incorrectly, or that they did that they didn't need to do. Like, I had literally just did my oil, and they charged me like almost $70 for an oil change between the filter and the oil and the actual cost of the person to do it. And I'm like, I literally just did my oil change. I even told you I had just done an oil change. And then they let my motorcycle sit for over 3 weeks before even touching it, even though the parts they ordered literally had come in like the day before, or like 2 or 3 days after when I had physically been in the shop. So the bike sat for 3 more weeks after that before they even began to repair it. So I have a lot of bones to pick with these people. I'm not too happy about how they handled things. And so, yeah, that's the end of this. Part 2 will be the breakdowns of everything else. See you there.
Anyways, I will see you all later. Leave your questions down below. I will leave as much information linked as I can. If you have any questions, or if you want some other biker related content, please feel free to leave recommendations down there as well. And I will see you all later. Thank you very much for coming. Have a fantabulous day or night wherever you are. Bye.